Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name is Lumen and today we're having a look at Monster Hunter Wilds. The unbridled force of nature runs wild and relentless, with environments transforming drastically from one moment to the next. This is the story of monsters and humans and their struggles to live in harmony in a world of duality. Fulfill your duty as a hunter by tracking and defeating powerful monsters and forging strong new weapons and armor from the materials you harvest from your hunt, as you uncover the connection between the people of the Forbidden Land and the locales they inhabit. The ultimate hunting experience awaits you in Monster Hunter Wilds. Also, character and Palico creation. If you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Monster Hunter Wilds, you can find some links below, and as always there will be timestamps down there. Use them, find what you're looking for, and leave satisfied. In this video we're having a look at the options and extras in the character creator itself, full customization for male and female characters, Palico Customization, the starter armor, clothing and underclothes options available, some custom creations that I made for the thumbnails, and a whole lot more. If you want a quick and dirty review, this is basically Monster Hunter World's character creator, but better in every way. Obviously, it is visually quite something. That's it. Let us begin. As we jump in, I'm going to show you the display options, they call it here. You can use it in any of the menus that you are working in. You just press G on the keyboard. I'm not sure what the controller button is for that. Then you can change the lighting of the scene. It's always handy because, you know, when you create a character and you don't check it in all the different lightings, you could get a bit of a shock when you step out into the sun. It's definitely worthwhile having a look at it. You can display your armor on your character and the Palico, so you can see what it looks like with that on. There's actually a whole lot more that goes into this. I will be talking about that. It's its own whole section in this. Then you can look at a motion sample, which basically just allows you to see your hunter in any different animations that you'd like. You got running, you got walking, you got a weapon pose over here, which is quite nice. I was about to try and turn the character. Give me a sec. I'm going back there. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. You can't turn the character, so the sword is kind of blocking it. You'll be able to turn it if you go into the actual customization. You got some attacks here. Lots of different attacks. Damage animations. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you'd want all of this, but I guess it's kind of cool that they have it. And if we go all the way back, you can do facial expressions as well. The facial expressions are not all that good if you zoomed all the way out, but when you zoom all the way in, when you're actually customizing your character, it will help. There you go. And then same thing for the Palico. You can pause them. You can have them do a little greeting, sit down, attack, damaged, and then the facial expressions as well. Yeah, it's good. It's good. These are good options. There's really nothing else to say about it. Now, when you jump into your actual hunter customization, and the same goes for Palico, there are two pretty interesting additions here that I personally really like. There is a color settings menu that has all the colors from all the options that you can find in customization. So as an example, your hair color, your skin color, the brows, the eyes, the beard, the makeup, all of it. So you can actually customize your character, then you can come back here to the color options and you can just change the colors separately. It's actually really smart. And it's something that I don't see being done in character creators all that often. This might actually be the first time that I see a summary like this. And speaking of summaries, there's also a full design summary of your character wherein you can actually change stuff as well. This is a full summary, so it makes sharing your character easy. It's got a full list of all your settings, everything that you can share or save. It's phenomenal. It's awesome. And like the best part is you can actually just change the options right here. You can go through them and change them. You can sort of see in the background there that it's changing. So this gets like a major thumbs up from me. The fact that they've sort of compressed all of this down to just being all these numbers here that you can just freely share and show to people and put out there for the world to see. It's awesome. Awesome. With that done, however, we are going to jump in and we're going to start in earnest. The first thing we're looking at, appearance presets. There is quite a lot that they have here, and I actually kind of like the way that they've done the presets. You'll see why now. Basically, they've got the male and female presets in here. They don't care nothing for splitting them, and I dig that. They also have a few sort of slightly crazier or more interesting ones, and that's kind of cool too. Now, visually, you will immediately see the improvements from Monster Hunter World to Wilds. They've just made the characters look phenomenal. Like, there's just no two ways about it. They look great. I did not mean to click on that. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to the controls here. But they've got a nice selection of characters here. I like the way the hair physics look. It's not as good as Dragon Age, the Veil God, but it's pretty good. They have some younger characters, some older characters. They have some of the old sort of faithfuls that they keep bringing back. I feel like some of these characters I see in every single one. It makes sense if the same people are working on the game that they bring back their favorites. That's it for the male ones. It's about to skip over into female. So we're going to go through them one more time quickly just to show you. They have some good looking characters here. And again, as starting points, I think it's pretty great. They give you a decent selection of ethnicities and age ranges and stuff like that for you to work with. You could easily just select one of these and use them as that starting point, you know? It's good enough. It's good enough. And as we go into the females here, I'm just going to say, you guys know it's Monster Hunter. You guys know that they do not hold back. They let you just go wild with the customization, and that's cool, you know? It's just more fun that way. They let people have fun. I want to make specifically a comment about the female characters that they've got here, the presets. The selection is great, and the characters themselves are just beautiful. Like, there's no two ways about it. They've done phenomenally with them. That is to say, like, these ones that they have here are beautiful. The options that they've chosen are beautiful. You can do whatever you want with them. I like that they've included something like this, too. It's kind of nice that they're actually using the markings and the sort of more unique eye options, the makeup, stuff like that. Because, I mean, a lot of these you could argue are a little, the word I would use is plain, but, you know, they let loose a little, and they throw some interesting ones in there. Can be seen on 24 and 12. I would have liked it if they threw more in, but, you know, that's good enough. So, one more time for the females, we'll just jump through there quickly. Some really nice characters, and I think that when you're making a character, what you can oftentimes just look at is like the face structure, and you can be like, yeah, I like that face. Then you can just take that model, you can change whatever you want. You can change the hair, you can change the skin tone, maybe the eye color or whatever, but you can keep the structure because it's, you know, good bones to work from. I dig that. So, that's it for the presets. We are now going to jump into male customization. If you want to see the voice, well, I'm going to look at the bearing stuff again. The clothing, the underclothes, the starting armor, all that stuff. There are timestamps, use them. But again, for now, we're going to look in the detailed settings for male customization. When you zoom in, I mean, detailed is the right word. It is fantastic. Fantastic. Like, the quality on the models here, so good. The facial hair specifically looks awesome. The hair itself, pretty great as well. And I mean, like, just the detail on the texture work and stuff like that. All of it. It comes together quite nicely. I like when character creators put the hair options first. I think it's really cool. It's like they're respecting you as a player, and they know that you're going to come back to the hair about 100 times, so why not get it out of the way first and pick one of the most impactful options first. I always rate it as skin tones and hair should be close to the top. Those are two of the like most important ones, and it's better to get those done first, because you can sort of build an entire look around a hairstyle, or, you know, the ethnicity of your character, the skin tone. So it's good when they have them close to the top. And the hair in this game, pretty great. I will talk probably multiple times about the hair physics here. They are good. Like, I would say second to none, but they are definitely second to Dragon Age the Veil God in that regard. They look natural. They look sort of decent when you move them around, but when there's sort of more rapid movement, it loses some of the realism, I guess you could call it. It's sort of, you can see that a lot of the physics are limited to the tips, I guess you could call it, like the ends, and that's okay. You know, it's a decent way of doing it. I keep clicking on there instead of... Are we at the end? No, we're not. There we go. It's okay like that. But it's not quite at the level that Fail Gods was at. That's nice, though. It really flows. Like, it looks so good, right? It looks really, really nice. It's a definite step up from what they did with World. I'm sorry if I keep jiggling the hair around. I can't help myself. It's just too fun, you know? It's just too fun. You may have realized there's a lot of hairstyles. And what's kind of sick is that it doesn't end there. The hairstyles that they have here... Oh, that's kind of nice. Look how long it is. They are also, I would say, considered as start-in points, because what you can do is, and you can obviously browse them like this, by the way, which is a lot easier. You can actually change the length on the longer style. So when you get to a longer one, I'll show you. One with the fringe and the back. There you go. Then you can actually slide this. You can change the length on the fringe. Some of them move a lot more than others. And then you can change the length on the back as well. It's not the best sort of hair length morphin that I've seen, but it is good. Like, there's just no two ways about it. It looks pretty decent. This is your locks at the front, and then that'll be at the back. And a lot of the other styles work in a similar way. Again, you'll see varying distances that get covered with this. Some more, some less. It's a good option. Now, I'm going to jump back. We are making a male character to the shorter styles here. We're going to use this one for now. And we're going to look at the hair color. Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter. They do not hold back. You got full RGB. You can do whatever the hell you'd like. You pull the saturation up. You pull the brightness up. And that's it. You've got neon hair. It is what it is. And it's outrageous. It's ridiculous. And I love it. It's phenomenal that they don't say like, whoa. Listen, you're getting a little too crazy here. Please stop. They just let you go with what you like. And to be honest, like, a lot more games should actually do this. They should just let you go, run free, and have fun. I understand that certain games do not want the game itself looking like a clown show, you know, a clown fiesta out there in the trade-in or monster or gathering hub or whatever it's called. I get it, okay? But at the same time, you know, players, they want to make what they want to make. They want to make themselves. They want to make something that represents them, that they feel comfortable playing with. And giving them more options is always better than giving them less. And giving them more freedom is always better than giving them less. I personally love how the natural hair tones look, the colors, the styles that you can go for. When you have these deeper colors, when you have basically the different layers on the black here, I think it looks awesome. It is for me. You can go for like a sort of crazy bright color because it looks good too. And the color translates 1-to-1. It's excellent. But as I was saying, I really think that the game does do the sort of more boring colors really well. And because of that, it's quite easy to make an argument for picking one of those. That said, I will pick one of those now. I'll just take this one for here. And I'm going to show you how the accents work. It's basically just another layer on top. And you can customize it any way you like. You can use it as a splash of color. You can use it to make your hair look slightly more realistic by adding some grays in there. You can do whatever. I'm going to quickly just select, let's say, a bright red. And then I will jump back and I'll just show you a few different styles and show you how it looks. Again, it's bright. There's just a lot going on there. I love it. It's good. It's good. It is not the most intense or crazy, but there's a lot with it, and you can sort of change the gradient ratio. You can change the intensity, of course, as well. This is basically a blur, so you can have it smoothly blend, or you can have it be like a stark or very contrasted blend. I like both ways, and I think both ways have some strengths to them. But just know, there's a lot you can do with the hair, and it is done very well, and it's put together very well. I'm going to change this now, however, and I'm going to keep it slightly more plain for the customization so that you guys don't get distracted by the look. If you want to see some crazier looks or some more interesting looks, just check the the end of the video out for the custom creations. Now, as I was saying, hair and skin at the start is excellent. It's just the way it should be. It is just the way it should be. Now, for skin tones, Monster Hunter is well known for giving you the good stuff. I realize that in many situations you will be seeing a lot of characters with like crazy skin tones, like blue, pink, red, green, whatever. That's accomplished via tattoos and markings, face paint. So if you want to do something crazy, just wait, that'll come later. But they give you everything. This is probably one of, if not the best, skin tone selectors that you can have for natural colors. And I'll tell you why. It's because they have all the cold or cooler tones on the top half here, and then all the warmer versions on the bottom. They let you go dark, they let you go light. It's just excellent. There's really nothing else to say. It's perfect. Then, skin textures. You get to choose the intensity of it. Then you get to choose a sort of decent number of texture. I don't really like the menu here, I'll be honest about it. I think it's kind of, it's like what you take in one and then you submit in it and then you pull in the slider. It's kind of silly, but whatever. Skin textures, there's a decent selection here that give you basically anything from a normal everyday skin to more weathered or slightly older, you could say, to freckles, to super duper smooth, which looks a little weird, to be honest. I'll take the normal one for now. You can, once again, with the slider up there, change the amount that it is showing. So you can go to like the default one, and you can sort of slide that up on there. And it looks nice. I mean, I personally really like the freckles. But there you go. Then wrinkles, for those that want to make a slightly older looking character. We'll pull this up to the top quickly. You can see how much it affects your character. Very well done. I always thought that Monster Hunter did good old characters. And yeah, I mean, can confirm. It looks good. It looks really good. Too good, maybe even. For the purposes of this character, we're going to turn it down. Then you can also change wrinkles with facial expressions. That's basically things like frown lines and smile lines and like crow's feet and stuff. Like it's very faint or minor an option, but it does make a difference if you have the wrinkles and stuff on already. It's good to have something like that. Now, moving on, eyebrows and eyelashes. Yeah, look at this. Holy crap. One major improvement I feel that this has over World is that it actually shows you when you morph in stuff where exactly it's morphing. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's just look at the eyebrow shapes first. There is a massive list here that we're going to go through. I generally actually in this specifically tend to go through it using A and D on my keyboard so that I can just, you know, one-hand it. And then I can also turn the model if I need to. But, you know, if you want to, you can use that full display. Lots of nice eyebrows here. I did Dragon Age recently, and I was saying, you know, Dragon Age, best eyebrows. But, I mean, this game actually has pretty great eyebrows as well. Yeah, when you turn it to the side like this, you can see that they have proper individual strands of hair there, which is, like, it's pretty phenomenal. They've done a great job with it. They don't have as many as they have in Dragon Age, but there's a decent amount, and they look good. Eyebrow color, same as hair color. You can go full RGB on it. It would be nice to have a match hair color, but it is usually here in recent colors. So if you do your hair color, you can find the recent color there. Eyebrow transparency. It's just an opacity slider on the eyebrow. Brow depth. Now this is where you start seeing the interesting stuff, where you can actually move the face around. Again, I love that it shows you with those little dots where exactly you move in. It's good. Because oftentimes you're like, okay, what is this actually doing? what are we busy morphing here? This shows you exactly where you are busy changing things. And to be honest, while it doesn't come in handy all that much with the eyebrows, I do feel like when you get to the jaw and the cheeks and stuff, it is definitely something that is well worth checking out. Eyelash color, same thing. You can change the eyelashes. You can make them kind of bright. It's not all that impactful if the eyelashes are small, but it is something you can do. You can change the length over here. It looks quite nice. And you can change the thickness. It looks a bit much. It's nice also that they show you the default positioning over there. Eye color. Here we go. Yep, you guessed it. Full RGB. You have full control over what you want to do with the brightness, the saturation, and everything else involved. It's just great. It's like I would say, in terms of visibility, it's the gold standard. Gold standard. That's it. Like, because your eyes are visible even when you zoom all the way out with teeny weeny little eyes. They show the color quite well. It's perfect. It's great. Now, in terms of customization, it's obviously not all that deep or complex, because they don't let you do all sorts of other stuff like, you know, the patterns that you have, or different types of irises, or, you know, they don't put little pictures and stuff in there. But I mean, a lot of people would complain, or they would argue that is immersion breaking. And I could understand that. I could understand that. You can change the size here, right? You can do separate settings, so heterochromia, right? And, I mean, yeah. Like, it's cool. It's cool. There's enough here, for sure. The changing of the back allows you to do demonic eyes, or it allows you to just go crazy with, like, some weird design. It's called the sclera. I always struggle with that word, I'm sorry. That's why I usually don't say it. But yeah, you can go for it. Another nice option that I've actually not been talking about much is you can actually press R and you can click reset settings, and you can get them back to where they were, which is kind of nice. Let's move on to eye shape. Again, this is where the different displays come in handy. You can see exactly where you are modifying the eye. Now, there's a blend-in mode here, and I'm going to be honest, this is completely unnecessary. You can basically select two different eye shapes here. You can go through them like this, and then you can blend them together. So if I pick one over there and I pick a different one over there, I can blend them together. It's cool, it's a good tool to have, but it is unnecessary if you have all these options. So basically, rather just work with the options and you will be able to do what you want to do. It is nice though. Like, more options, better. Definitely. So this is where you'd easily set up any ethnicity you'd like, any style of eye you'd like, because they really have everything. You can also do some funny stuff here, like close your character's eyes, like have them super wide open. I've done some ridiculous stuff with Monster Hunter World, obviously, because who hasn't? And the same can be done here. Like, there's a lot of movement back and forth, and it's cool. Nose shape blend-in, same thing as on the eyes. You can see the different noses here, and you can blend them. Again, feel it's unnecessary, but it is useful to have. Here you can move around the nose quite a lot. You can do a lot with it. The shape that you can pick in the nose blend-in obviously comes into play. Like, you can do some interesting stuff if you combine them with these movements that you have here. But again, it is sort of overcomplicating things a little bit. And it's something that the enthusiasts would use. Now, I will mention that when you do look at these different options here, they are giving you different options. They're giving you different shapes, as an example, for the lips here. Bigger, smaller, fatter, thinner, and so on and so forth. And, you know, you might want to use those if you're customizing your character to the max. But you might also not want to, because it might overcomplicate things a little bit. Teeth color. It's Monster Hunter. You can do whatever you want. You can have red teeth. You can have blue teeth. You can have green teeth. It's Monster Hunter. Of course, you can do whatever the heck you like. Yeah, go out there, be gross, guys. Just do the do, okay? You can even stain your teeth, which I actually think is kind of nicely done. It's less visible. You actually have to have the character slightly more open of mouth here, which you can do, I think, using display options. Let's just have a look quickly. If you put the angry grimace on, or the smile, I'm not sure if you can actually see it nicely, the stain on the teeth. I'm trying to get it visible there. Yeah, it's kind of hard. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, you can stain your teeth any color you like. Why you'd want to do that? I mean, you can have like celestial teeth by making them like white stains on black teeth or some nonsense like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. People find ways to use this stuff creatively all the time. So get out there and find ways. Okay? All right. Good. Done with the mouth. Let's move on to facial hair. This is always a favorite of mine. We are going to look at the beards first. Let's go to the first one and we'll take it from there. You can have no beard, obviously. You can have a decent selection of shorter, smaller beards, and I kind of like that. I think they've done the facial hair really well. They do stubble really well in this game, as you can see. It's just a natural look, you know? Very natural. And I mean, this also, I feel like I'm seen by just putting these options in here. The scrappier looking beard options, you know, because not everyone has these perfectly trimmed full beards. They look awesome. They look amazing. There's some nice physics on the beard as well. The chops, the sideburns here look kind of nice too. All of it, in my opinion, just looks pretty great. Now, the mustaches obviously need to be combined with this to have the greatest effect. You'd need to mix and match to see what you want. I think they look pretty good. And I think that they did great with this. It's great. It's perfect. There's nothing that I would complain about where this is concerned. On that note, however, we're going to just have a look at all the other available options first. Beard color it's just full RGB again. It's always just full RGB in Monster Hunter. You can disco with your beard. You can do whatever. I'm not going to do that here. Accent, same thing. Same thing. You pull the brightness up. You can sort of see how the accents look on the different beards. It's pretty consistent over all of them. And I like that. Yeah, I like that. Mustache color can be done separately. And then the gradients, it's the same as on the hair, where you can basically have it show more of the extra color or less, right? But, again, for the purposes of this video, we will select something slightly more basic or straightforward. We'll just take some stubble here. And, yeah, something like that. We will continue. Good beard options, though. Like, no complaints there. Then we have the face shape, which, I'll be honest, I feel like face shape should have been right after skin, up at the top there. It basically allows you to move the bulk of the face around. Now, this is one of the first times where I feel like this actually comes in handy. It makes sense to use the morphing tool here just to try and get something that you are more happy with. You can go for the smaller face types here. You can go for the bigger face types. So if I want to make sort of like this is a slightly more angular one, and then combine it with a slightly, let's say, smaller face, then I would actually say this one down here. Then I can mess around with this a little bit and see where I'd like to fall, where that's concerned. However, I will just say it is probably best to just jump in here and use this. This is the overall morphing of the face, where you are moving quite a lot around as you drag these. Like, there's a lot of movement, and you can go pretty crazy with it if you'd like to, of course. The jaw width, it's a big one. Jaw rotation. Again, it's good that those little dots are there. There's the chin, and here's the chin depth. Good movement, a lot of options, thumbs up. Here's one of my favorite parts of the character creator, the physique. It's one of my favorite parts, but I do feel they could have more here. I am going to tell you right now why they don't have more, though, immediately. The reason there's not more here is because Monster Hunter is a game about armor and weapons. And it's a game about having them look good on your character. It's a game about hunting them down, equipping them, crafting them, doing whatever with them. And unfortunately, if you had to put like crazy and wacky body types in here, like Street Fighter 6 had, for example, none of those armor models would look good. And it makes the game look terrible in that sense, because if you have like a weird shaped body where it's like, you know, you got a chest that's the size of like this whole screen and you got these teeny little twig legs, they're not going to be able to put that beautiful armor model on there. And then if anyone sees the game like that, it'll just look out of place and weird and crazy and messed up. And while that could be fun, and it could be like potentially modded into the game, it just doesn't show off what the game is about very well. So I understand how they'd want to limit it to a certain style of body type. They've got this body type for male, and that's that. You can be smaller, you can be bigger, you can put the muscle definition lower or higher, and I honestly think it's perfect. Like, it's Monster Hunter. You know you want the armor to look good, and it does look good. And if they had given you more options here, it would not have looked all that great. So, yeah, I get it. I understand why there's less. However, I will say, again, because I need to talk about these things, it would be cool if we had some individual options available. If we could have perhaps just changed, like, the biceps, let's say the posterior dimensions a little bit, the arm sizes, the lengths. It's just a few things, small, minor tweaks. That would have been cool. But hey, that it is what it is. And it's okay. It's okay. Now we're going to do the makeup and face paint. This is the final stop, basically. I am going to sort of, not rush through this, but I'm going to show you these things in a slightly briefer time period, just because there's so much here. And you know, you could argue and say, hey, because there's so much here, I should be showing all of it off. Well, sure. Sure. But I don't want to be here for 3 hours just showing off all the cool stuff you can do with this. Instead, I will show you what's available, and you can make up your own mind. So the way this works is you have a bunch of, and it changes this every time, a bunch of options here for your face paint, and you can change them drastically. The game lumps it all together. It's makeup, it's face paint, and it's scars all in one. I love the flash in that it does to show you where it is, because, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes to know, especially considering they change the color every time you move it. But you have all these designs, and here's the one that I was talking about. If you want to cover your whole face in a certain color, you can do it with this design. You can basically change this to anything you like, and you can be Piccolo, you can be Frieza, you can be, well, anyone you like. You can literally do anything. It gets worse than this, by the way, because you can actually do this, and then you can change the luminance, and you can change. It's ridiculous. It's just okay. It's ridiculous. Let's just keep going. Okay, hold on. We're gonna keep going because okay, I'll show you. I'm sorry, I will show you luminance. Yeah, that's a character that you can make in Monster Hunter, or you can take that down and you can make it all like sweaty and oily looking. If I pull this down there. Metallic looking, whatever you want to call it. It's ridiculous. It's Monster Hunter. They give you like all the options that you could possibly want, and they give you the basic ones and the plain ones as well. I love the freckles and stuff. I think that's kind of nicely done. Some beauty marks. Then they get to the war paints and tattoos and stuff here. It's kind of cool. Just know, however, that I haven't even shown you how to customize these yet, and keep in mind that you have 3 slots. Here are the scars. Very cool looking scars. I say cool looking, yeah, I mean, some people don't find scars cool looking. I think it's nice to be able to put these, this is pretty sick, these options on your character. That's the end. We're up to 46. Now, I'm going to use just any random old face paint like this one, and I'll show you the options available. I'll show you how I can do it. Full RGB on the color. So if you pull the saturation, the brightness up, you can do any color you like, right? Obviously. I'm going to reset that quickly. Then you can do the opacity on it, right? You can change the position. Any way you like. Okay? You can change the size. Any way you like. You can see that's the biggest one over there. That's a stretched horizontally, that's stretched vertically, and that's the smallest one. Okay? Then you can do the angle. So already you may realize that you can do basically anything you like with this. You can flip it horizontally and vertically. Then you can have symmetry, where it's like some of them have the symmetry on and some have off, so you can just have the one or you can have both. Then, as I showed you earlier, you can do the texture settings. You can make it glossy or matted. You can add a sheen to it, which makes it look more metallic. Then there is a dimension setting, which they say here is less noticeable with some makeup and face paint types. I'm not exactly sure how that works, and I will just, for preview's sake, put, let's say, a set of, put the eyeliners on and see if that changes there. I don't know exactly what it is or how it helps. I think it's a combination of like gloss and just the texture that they're using on it, right? I'm not exactly sure how they sort of quantify what that does. And then you have luminance as an option. And this is just an insane option. It's ridiculous. It's very cool because it can do a lot of really interesting stuff, but it's ridiculous because you can really like go crazy with it. And I mean, people just have so much fun with this. The luminance option, it's like, if I, as an example, go for one of the slightly bigger face paints, as an example, this one, and then I jump into the texture options here, the luminance option, it just, yeah. One of my favorite things to do with this is stuff like, I like to call them celestial freckles. I'm sorry, it's like, it's not very inspired, but it's kind of cool to do something like that, where you put like a glow on the freckles, and, you know, then you can change the color to something brighter if you'd like, make yourself some little star freckles. It's cool. You just let loose with your creativity. Down at the bottom here, you can swap them, so you can actually take this one and make it paint number, well, slot number 3 or slot number 2, if you'd like to move them around, and that's awesome. Yeah. That's basically it for the options for makeup. There's so much cool stuff that you can do here, and honestly, this is just the part of the system where you're gonna have to go crazy and test things for yourself. That does bring us, however, to the end of the male customization. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a lot there. Randomize. This is an interesting option because the way that they do the randomize is multifaceted. You can have a new face with similar characteristics. So if you like this face, but you feel there's just something missing, you can re-roll it and it will stay similar. They keep in the beard. You can see they're keeping the freckles, the eyebrows. They're just moving it around slightly. Then you can do a completely new face and it'll just turn your character into someone else. It still keeps the same quote-unquote characteristics, but the face shape is changing completely. That's the best they've got for randomization here, and I think it's good because it actually gives you a usable tool, but I also still do like randomizing completely, right? So this is cool, and it's useful in my opinion because you can pick the character that you like and then you can re-roll. So you can keep going for the faces. You're like, oh, that looks kind of nice. Then you can re-roll the similar ones and you can narrow it down even more and you can be like, that's the one. So it's a good randomized option, but at the same time, I do feel that it would have been fun to have a full randomized system. With that done, however, we are finished with the male options. We're going to jump into a female character now, and we're going to start on detailed settings, then we'll do the randomize at the end. So, here we are. I'm a huge fan of the visuals. I've said that many times already. I like the hair physics. They're not quite as good as the ones we saw recently in Dragon Age the Veilguard, but they are really good and they're a vast improvement over Monster Hunter World. They look good, they look nice, they are pretty. Speaking of pretty, the character models are phenomenal. I also love that they put the hair options first and the skin options second. I do wish they had put the face shape third. That would have been best. However, hey, it's good. Let's start on the hair. That's the first stop here. I'm going to go straight to number 0 and we will start with that. Let us check what's available. You will notice as we scroll through here, different options pop up and become available. These are really nice hairstyles, man. Like the individual strands, the overall detail on this, really cool. Very, very, very well done. This hairstyle specifically looks really nice. It's nice how they have a unique blend-in method here to like sort of attach it to the head, where it's not like normal straightforward stubble. They have stubble that matches the hair type, which is actually very impressive. It's more impressive than most people probably realize, because oftentimes they just use this kind of stubble to blend it, but on that specific style, they have its own custom stubble. So the artists, they really took care creating this. Some really nice hairstyles here, long and short, and man, if you take all the options that they have available here, you throw it all together, you've just got so much at your disposal, right at your fingertips. And yes, in case you didn't realize, you got the same hairstyles on male and female. Most of the same options, to be honest, on male and female. And for the most part, you are looking at a similar experience as you jump through. You are, however, just customizing, as you can see here, a female body versus a male body. And the faces and stuff do look different. Like, you're not going to be able to create this female face on a male. So, it's good. But I do like that they've kept all the hairstyles on both. I think that some of these hairstyles are awesome, man. And, I mean, there's no reason to split them. Sure, there are some typically feminine-looking styles, but, like, still. For the purposes of the video, I want one that's not so in the face. So we'll take this one for now. It looks kind of nice. And then I'm going to show you the hair colors. I am going to also show you this stuff afterwards. We'll just go with the colors first, and then we'll have a look. Seems like it's getting a little breezy in here. That might just be the hairstyle, but for whatever reason, it's flicking around a bit. Now, Monster Hunter. Full RGB. You can do whatever you want with the hair. They do present you with a couple of presets here that I guess look good. It's kind of, I mean, yeah, I suppose. They are a little more out there in terms of the color choices. So basically, you are getting a few more extremes here, but there are some decent choices that can help you along your way. And then they give you some brighter colors here that can also tell you, hey, go crazy, explore the different options available. But I will just show you that you can go basically anywhere. So if you set the saturation up, the brightness up, you've got everything. You've got everything. And it's bright. It's like really, really bright. And in combination with the options for like the makeup and the face paint and, you know, everything else involved there, you can just make your character a beacon of light visible from 100 miles away, easy peasy, if that's what you want. However, I think a lot of people do like going for the more grounded in reality style. So for the purposes of this video, I will just pick like a straight black, and I will show you how the accents work. The accents are different on every single hairstyle. You can pick, let's say, a brighter color. Let's take the red for now, or let's take a brighter color like the yellow. Then you can change how much of the hair it covers, which is it's a common option. A lot of character creators use this. Then you can change the intensity of the blend, where it's a smoother blend versus a harsher blend. Both good options. I like it. Again, for the purposes of this video, we'll just go with this. Then I will also just show you how the hair length sliders work. Basically, you want one that has a fringe, and you want one that has a long back. And then you can see that you can modify the lengths. This is not a great example. I know there's a better one a little further on. Let's see quickly. This one. You can actually change it quite drastically. Have it hanging in your eyes or not. Or you can have the length a little longer. It's not the most like delicate or finessed version of sliding that around, but it does look good. And I appreciate that they added some customization for the hair. You know, along with the colors, I think this is more than enough, right? Next, skin. I actually really like this, the hairstyle that I've just chosen. Skin color. Yeah, I want to say, hey, it's Monster Hunter full RGB, but if you want full RGB skin, you have to actually use the markings and the tattoos and the face paints. You can get full RGB skin with that. I like the way that they present the skin tones here. It's one of my favorite methods, actually, where they have the cooler tones at the top. You can see that the black that they have here is way colder in its tone, and that's the warmer one. Both look good. Both are totally cool, and both are very much grounded in reality. I like that they've done this. You can go for the pale white up there, the warmer one, and you can also mess around with the sliders if you want to be more precise, I suppose. But this is just the best way of doing it. Honestly, it's the best way. For the video, we'll go in the middle here, and we're going to look at skin textures. The skin textures are interesting. You basically have a choice here to try and change. You know, you're working on the age, the overall sort of amount of pores that are visible, the markings, the wrinkles and the frown lines and stuff like that, and then the extras like freckles and beauty spots and stuff like that. However, there is obviously more that you can customize later in the makeup section, and we'll get to the wrinkles just now, the full wrinkles. So these are the ones that are available. They look good. They look nice. You can sort of go for a perfect skin versus one that looks slightly more realistic, more splotchy. And then you can obviously also change the slider up at the top here to have it show more or show less. As you can see on 0, it shows nothing. There you go. Wrinkles. These are nice. It's well done. Monster Hunter does this well. You can make your character look older. You'd obviously want to do a combo effort here. You'd want to make your character look older using the wrinkles here and perhaps the face shape and stuff like that, but they do look good. Like, I mean, that's one of the more realistic, let's say, old people I've seen in a game. The texture work is phenomenal. The level of detail is just great, right? Right. Then you can have expression wrinkles. It's like very faint frown lines, smile lines, crow's feet, stuff like it's very faint. It's they say distinct over here, but it's very faint. But you can do it, and that's cool. Then, next up, I would have liked to have said face shape is next up, but we're moving on to the eyebrows and the eyelashes. We'll zoom in for that. Gonna go to 0 over here. Doesn't look so great without... Jeez. It just goes to show how much of a difference the eyebrows make, right? Just goes to show. They have some pretty nice eyebrows here. I recently did Dragon Age Veilguard, or had a look at it at least. Unfortunately, I'm comparing everything to that now, because that's the new gold standard, I suppose. There are good eyebrows in here, nice looking eyebrows, but there aren't as many as in there. However, I love the way that they've done it. The texture work on the eyebrows is great. They have the individual strands there. And then when we get to the customization options here, it's pretty intense. Like, they've got enough stuff there. So yeah, for the purposes of the video, we'll just go with something sort of plain. We'll go with the first one. I like big brows. Well, big enough brows. For the color, you can do full RGB. Not going to show you all the different colors here, but you can do anything you like. No match to hair option, but you can pick the recent and custom colors. So if you choose a color, you make it, then you can just sort of pick the same one on this. Transparency. Not the best blend-in where that's concerned. It's sort of just changing the opacity on the hair itself, but you can change that, and that's good. Brow depth. I like the little dots that they have there that show the locations that you're actually pulling around. It's quite nice. separation, height. This is where you're going to set your facial expressions up for the most part. You're going to want to do these. You can pay attention here, I think. Eyelash color, same as the hair. You got full RGB control. And it is something you're going to want to look at if you are customizing everything to your liking. For me, however, I'm going to reset it. And we're going to move on to the eyelashes. Bigger, smaller. I kind of like the big eyelashes and then the thickness over there. It's like basically applying more mascara. It's good. It's good. Like, it's just good. Eye color. Very good options here. Nice selection. Again, full RGB. You can do whatever you like with them. You can even change like the brightness. Makes quite a big difference. And you can have it visible from a nice long distance away, which in my opinion is one of the coolest parts of Monster Hunter. Is like you can zoom all the way out and you can see the eyes. It looks great. Yeah. You can change the sclera color. You can make that sort of look like a demonic character if you'd like, or you can make it match the eye itself by pulling this up. It's kind of weird, but you can do it. And again, people get creative with stuff like this. So I have no doubt that there'll be some cool stuff out there. There you go. Then you can do heterochromia. You can just change the colors to whatever you like. I think it's kind of nice. It looks good. We'll just leave it like that, actually. This is a nice character. Like, there's just there's nothing else to say. It's a good-looking character. Eye shape. This is the first one where we get to use the blend-in. I'm not a huge fan of the blend-in. I think it's okay. But basically, the way it works is you pick a style here for the one, and you pick a style for the other, and you blend them. The thing is, it's a bit difficult to understand how it works because it's a triangle, but you only have two options here. So it's kind of like, where exactly are we, you know? I imagine that's the default at the top, like they say here. So you've got this eye on the bottom side, then you've got the other eye on the other bottom side, and then the default's at the top. But like the thing is like, what is default, right? So it's a little, you know? But basically, these are different eye types that you are choosing. And then you can further customize them over here. It's important, but it's not that important, right? So you can make it work without this, or using this. And you can sort of blend. You'll see if I go from here to here, because there's nothing that's staying on default. But then if I go down there, then it's switching to that one. Default's good. Eye size. Not too much movement here, but they have a decent amount. Eye height. Separation, rotation. You can do basically all the stuff that you'd want to do in the blend-in tool here, but it is obviously still important because, well, you got to combine them. You can even close your character's eyes, which is, well, a little crazy. Little crazy. There you go. That's the fold rotation. It's kind of a more difficult one to see move. Then we move it on to nose. Shape blend-in. You get to pick a nose here, and you get to blend the shapes. With this, I can, with much confidence, say you don't really need to touch that. You can do everything over here. There's a lot of options here for the nose size, for the bridge, for the nostrils, for basically everything. However, if you're doing the full works, I would say you probably still have some options available here that could make you happy. It's always worth checking all the options. Mouth blend-in. Different mouth types. If we just put it over there, we can see what they look like. You're going to want to check these out. Pick one that you like. Set it onto there. I think this is basically the same as the default. Yeah, it's basically the same. Basically. Then, mouth width. Position. The depth is slightly more visible if you actually turn it. Corner height. Thickness. And then the teeth. Yeah. Full RGB teeth. You can light them up any color you like. If you want to do that, it's kind of weird. But if you want to be like flashbanged every time your character opens their mouth, yeah, it's an option. So you can pick any color you like here. And then you can also do the stain color. The way the stain works, the opacity actually needs to be on the lowest for the stain to show. So I'm going to reset this to the basic one quickly, and then I'll show you the stains. You can choose any color for your stains. You can have multi-colored blue stains, green, red, yellow, whatever you like. Again, if you're making something a little crazy, then I'd say that there's probably some use for this somewhere in there. Facial hair. You can put beards on the ladies. We will go through this very briefly, just because it's kind of cool to look at beards. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, how you are, or what you are. Beards are cool. Fact. You can put beards on the ladies. so let's not complain. It's just nice. More options, better. Come on, guys. Say it with me. Mustaches. I will zoom through here a little bit because, well, you know, we're on the ladies, and I think most ladies don't really want to see the beards. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say that as a fact, but full color control over the beard as well. You can make it any color you like, as bright as you like, as dark as you like. And once again, much like on the hair, you can do a lot with the highlights. So you can sort of add more or less. You can have the gradient smoother or well, more gradual. I guess it's not more gradual. It's actually smoother or more contrasted, which is nice. And then you can change the mustache color separately. That's basically it. However, again, for this, we will actually take the beards off. For some reason, I feel like it might be easier to see the tattoos and the markings with that. But we're moving on to the face shape now. Here you have face shape blend in. Similar to how we did it on the male side of things, you have a bunch of choices here where you can change the overall look and feel of your character's face. These are quite important because this is where you're going to want to choose what you want. The default one is up at the top, and you know you might want to stick with that first, but you can blend the two together. You put one here, you put one here, and then you sort of go between them if you'd like to do that. For now, we'll go with default, and I'll show you how the structure changes when you move this around. These are some pretty drastic changes. There's like an entire facial structure morph where it's like a lot of different options all in one. The face length, cheekbones, fullness of the cheeks, the jaw width, jaw rotation, chin length, and chin depth. Very nicely put together. I've got zero complaints. I think they've done it awesomely. Lots of good options for your character. Then, physique. Yeah, body options. You actually have a muscle mass slider that changes the size of your character and basically the size of your character's muscles. I do believe that the basic size, the bottom level one here, is maybe a little bit skinny. I mean, come on, guys. We are a monster hunter. We want some muscles on there. Yes, there are some boob jiggle physics. There's not a lot, however. And then you've got a muscle definition slider, which admittedly I think is more impactful on the males, which makes me a little sad. I think they should have given the ladies slightly more muscle mass and slightly more definition as well, but overall it does look good, and I like that they give us these options. I'll put it somewhere on the higher side of things. She's got like a very Avatar Korra kind of build, and I dig that. It's more apparent even when you have this armor and stuff on. I like it. Now we're moving on to the face paint and makeup. This is a pretty big section that I'm going to sort of gloss over a little bit. You'll get enough of an idea of what you can do with this, with what I'm going to show you right now. So first we're going to go through the designs that are available, right? This game throws everything together. It puts all your makeup, your face paint, your scars, and your tattoos in one. There's a lot of really, really, really nice options here. And there's so much in terms of customization. Like, you can do so much. It's phenomenally done. You can even use this one, as I mentioned before, to completely change your face's color. I have to show this off because I always do. You can basically just pick a color here and you can make your character's skin that color. And when you're playing the game, you're going to have most of your skin covered by armor anyway, so the face will be enough. However, this just it goes beyond sort of plus ultra style. So you pick the color here, then you can change the size. You can make it sort of wherever you want it. I'm just showing this off quickly now to show you how far you can go. And then if you want to go a step further, you can actually go down here and you can pull the luminance up and you can just be like a An obnoxious bright light. But let's just go through the options to the end. I just wanted to show you that's the one you'd use if you wanted to change everything drastically. There are some really nice, more subtle makeup choices here. And then when we get to the face paints and the tattoos and stuff, you'll see there's some other cool stuff as well. I like the freckles and the beauty spots and stuff like that. They look good. And the game has some of the best scars that you will find in gaming. Absolutely. Just keep in mind, as I go through here, you can change everything on all of this. Everything. The scars look great. They are very, very cool. Very Monster Hunter. I mean, Monster Hunter, it's a game about hunting monsters and getting beat down. Obviously, it's going to have good scars, right? Obviously. So yeah, there we're at the end. Keep in mind that you can have 3 different options available at any time. I'm going to pick... Okay, I'm going to pick this one. And I'm going to use this to show all the options off. So opacity, you can have it sort of, you know, fully visible or not. You can change the position. It doesn't go down onto the body, but you can sort of do some interesting stuff with this regardless, right? You can change the size. I'm going to make it a little smaller so that I can show you the differences in textures and stuff like that. So I'll put it like over a face right here. You can change the angle. Oh, I just cancelled it. So size a bit smaller. Position. Oh, okay, hold on. I have to press confirm. There you go. Angle. So keep in mind, if you are using different designs here, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's take this one, for example. Then you can change the angle to move them around. It's kind of cool. It's really nice. It's a very, very customizable system. Then, after you've done that and sort of done it how you'd like it, you can flip it horizontally or vertically, which is obviously kind of sick. You can have symmetry, which is, well, it speaks for itself. You can have 1 or 2. Then the texture settings are really interesting. You can make it glossy or matted. So you can make sort of like that blood on the face kind of look. Add a little bit of sweat to it if you'd like. And then you can also do the sheen, which makes it look more metallic. That's a nice combination, obviously, with the gloss. It makes it look kind of awesome. If that's not your style, however, you can add luminescence to it. The dimension option is kind of weird. It's sort of like a mix of... They call it here... They just call it dimension. They say it's less noticeable with some makeup or face paint types, and it is more visible with others. That's true. But it's sort of like a shading thing, but also a texture or depth kind of thing. It's very subtle. Very subtle. I see it as a shading that they apply into the option, but it's something that works better with some and less with others. Then you can do the luminance, which is just insane. You can do some really cool stuff with luminance, where if you move the position around a little bit, you can really go all out. And what I dig about the luminance is it works on basically everything, even stuff like the scars. So if you throw luminance on the scars, you can have like celestial scars where you were, you know, you can make up a backstory. Your character was attacked by a beast from the void and gained glowing purple void scars. I don't know. Make it up, okay? You guys are creative. I believe in you. But it is sick that they give you that option. It's just so good, right? So there's a lot that you can do, and you can do it in 3 different slots. You can also swap them. So if you want to move this one to 2 or 3, you can do that. There's just so much available. There's so much, right? So go crazy with that. Do what you'd like with that, and have fun with that. That does, however, bring us to the end of the customization options. Again, I know I sort of glanced over this, went through it pretty quickly, the makeup stuff, but you can mess around with it and you'll find something you like there, I'm certain. Now we're going to randomize the faces on our female character here. There's 2 different ways you can do it. You can create a new face with similar characteristics. Show you what that looks like. I like this one the most because it sort of fine-tunes stuff and gives you a slightly different looking character, or you can make a completely new face, where it changes basically everything on the face. Not to the extremes, but it does change it quite a lot. There you go. Now you can cancel it if you'd like. Use this face, no, and then we're back on our original. So that's how the randomization looks. That's how it works. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Now we're going to move on to the voices. We're going to start... Look, for the purposes of this video, I will go to the male character that we customized, this guy over here. I will do the voices and I'll do the bearing and stuff like that, the clothing and all the rest. Then I'll do the female one. I'll just do both so you can see them both. So that's pretty much it for the selection here. You've got 6 different types, but you can go a step further and actually change the pitch. I'm going to mess around with that a little bit. I'm not going to talk, and I'll let you listen to it. Then we'll jump on to the other stuff.
Impressive. Thanks. This is serious.
Thanks. This is serious. Impressive. Impressive. Impressive.
Impressive.
Thanks. This is serious. Impressive. Thanks.
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 Honestly, yeah, no. So I don't like it when they do that. It's an artificial sort of boost in pitch. They push it up, they push it down. It sounds kind of stupid. Leave it on default, please. Trust me on that. Leave it on default. Pick one of these 6. The male ones for the male characters, the female ones, or whatever you'd like to do. But the voice pitch, I wouldn't mess with that. Not too much. It has this tinny sound. It doesn't sound great. Then we're going to look at bearing. You get to choose sort of just the character's attitude. You can be confident. You can be graceful. And honestly, it's not going to matter too much. It's cool, but it doesn't change all that much. Right? Then, clothing. There's a lot here. So the way we're going to do this is I'm just going to show you a quick brief look at how it works on the male, and then on the female, then I'll show you a little bit more in terms of customization. But it's easy enough to just show the one and the other. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so first things first, your clothing. This is what you wear under your armor. You have a few different choices here. Some may look familiar, some are relatively new. I like the options available, and you can put any of them on male or female. Those are the ones that you have. Innerwear of 4 different varieties. Then you can go into detailed settings here, and you can actually customize and wear different pieces of those 4 different parts. So if you like the one top more, I like that top a lot, but you like the arms of this one, then you can throw that on there. What's the same one actually? Or if you want the bare arms like that, you can do that. Then on the waist, you like perhaps that specific dagger on the back, you can do that. And then on the legs, maybe you want some shorts on there, so you throw that on. Boom, 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 boom. And then your character looks like this. Then you can customize the color on pretty much every part of the armor, right? You can do all of it. Full RGB, anything you like, all the way down. And yeah, that's it. Then, if you want to do the whole thing, all the colors together, you can do that as well. Same thing. And then you mess it all up and you go back and you reset it because it's kind of ridiculous. All right. So yeah. Underclothes. You will see it's the undershirt that you have over there, and then you have tights as well. It's kind of hard to show it off like this. So what I'll do is I will just take that option, then I'll go back and I'll show you the underclothes. It's a shirt and it's the tights at the bottom. You can change the color of those as well. It looks sort of the same as you'd expect it to look when you do that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not sure you can actually... This is the tights. There you go. There it is. So, yeah, there's a lot of options with the clothes and the underclothes and everything else. Then you get to finally pick your starting armor, which is actually probably the coolest part of all of this. I'm going to show this off on male and female. You have a few different options here. I personally love this one. But you basically you can go with nothing, or you can jump in with the 2 armor sets, or you can jump in here and you can customize it completely. You can pick which part of which you want. And yeah, I think it's really great. And if you combine this with the options of the clothing, it's pretty phenomenal. Like, you can do this, and then you can still come back here to the clothing, and you can choose what you want underneath the starting armor, and it can make it look just all the more detailed and crazy. Then, in terms of the colors, I think, can you change the starting armor colors? Let's just have a look quickly. No, that's basically it. Okay. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. We're going to reset everything, however. There you go. And yeah, I want to say they have a decent selection here compared to what they had before. Let's do the same thing on female quickly, and I'll just show you what's available. If we jump into the voices, I said I would do them both on both, so let's have a quick listen.
Oh! Impressive.
This is serious.
This is serious.
This is serious. Thanks. This is serious.
Now the pitch, I don't recommend you fiddle with this. It's really not all that good, but I'm going to let you listen to it anyway.
Impressive.
Thanks. This is serious. Thanks. This is serious.
Impressive. Impressive, thanks. Impressive.
Yeah, no. I don't recommend doing that. I think just leave the pitch on 10, the default, and then pick the voice you like here and go with that. For your bearing, you can be confident or you can be graceful. I believe they should probably have had more options here, but I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's like, it's not going to play too big a part, I would say. Clothing. You have 4 different options here of inner wear, and you can also mix and match. So if you come into detailed settings, you can choose which top you want, you can choose which sleeves you want, you can choose the belt, and you can choose the legs. It's incredibly well done. Then you can do full colors on all of them, and again, it is, as Monster Hunter seems to always do, full RGB here. You can also change the colors over here to change them all at the same time, right? So there's quite a lot of options available. If that wasn't enough, you can actually also, I'm going to reset this quickly. Reset. Then you can also change the underclothes. You can have a shirt on, and you can have tights on. And you can change their colors as well. Then finally, you can do your starting armor. And you can do your starting armor, but also customize it completely. So you're basically jumping in here, and you can choose which parts you want from which. You combine this with the options that are available for your clothing and underclothes, and yeah, then you are sitting with quite a lot on your hands. Pretty awesome. Pretty damn cool. Now, with all of this done, I will just once again show you that you can change all your colors over here if you'd like to. It's kind of nice to have them all in one place. You can look at a full sort of design preview of your character here that you can share quite easily. It's really cool. You can also change all this stuff here if you'd like. And that's it for the Hunter customization. We're going to move on to Palico now. Palico is far less in-depth, but there is still a whole lot going on here that you can do. And in my opinion, the Palicos are looking better than ever. So hey, let's jump in. Let's do the Palico quickly. We're going to start by looking at the presets. One of my favorite things is the long hair that they've added. It is just so cool, man. Yeah, I dig it. That's the first option. Oh, look at it. It's like a real little fluff ball. You will notice in a moment they actually have a language here and a voice. The Palicos speak now. It's... I'm trying to decide whether I like it or whether it's unnerving. I'm trying to still sort of formulate an opinion. It's weird. It's strange after playing Monster Hunter for a bunch, having the Palicos actually use real words and like talk to you properly. I realize that the Monster Hunter players among you probably aren't going to be weirded out by this, but I am. Those are the presets available. Decent selection already. You can just pick one of them here and be happy if you'd like. But there is a detailed selection here that you can go through. There are patterns you can pick. We're going to go through those and you can have a look. Some nice selections. Very cool. You can obviously customize them. Colors. Full RGB. You can make your cat any old color under the sun. I mean, this really, like, it's a talking Palico cat. Like, obviously you can do whatever you want with it. It would be ridiculous if they limited you. If they drew the line here, it would be ridiculous. So yeah, you can just basically go anywhere on any of these slots. So if you have a look, it's actually kind of nice. Like, you can really do some cool stuff with this. That's the little paw over there. And then the third one. This might be, let's see where it is. Yeah, they're on the bottom. So now you can change the pattern. You can see what it would look like with that color scheme. Pretty cool. I'm going to reset it, however, because I'm a little worried by how it looks. There you go. Then you can be long-haired, and that's the option you have to tick. Like, you have to. You're making a Palico, you have to give them the long hair. It just looks so cool. I can't get enough of it. I love it. I love what it looks like. It's so cute, man. It's so cute. So cute. Ears. You can make them massive, and then you can add fur in the ears. Kind of nice as well. I like the big ears. Then you can do ear shape blend-in. There are, well, some decent options here to give you all the different styles that you could want. Basically, the best way of doing it is just going over there, and then I'll show you the styles as they are. This one's got a notch in it. You can see it's got like a little scar over there. And you got all the different shapes. It's kind of nice. Yeah. Very cute. I like the notched one. We'll take that for now. And then, as I mentioned, fur type and size. Right? Eyes. Eye shape blend-in. You can, well, do this. Because it's cute. Why not? And then you can have some slightly angrier looking eyes here. Let's just bring this up over there. Angrier looking eyes. More inquisitive. More innocent. Whatever you like. I'm going to take the wide open eyes. And then I'm going to show you pupil size. You can make it look more cat-like, more feline, or, well, like this, which I do think is quite cute. Iris color, full RGB once again. You can do whatever you like here. I will just go for like a yellow maybe. There we go. Then you can do heterochromia on the kitty. That's an option as well. You can make like matching eyes for your hunter, which is kind of cool. But there you go. Then facial fur. It's cute. Oh, I love it, dudes. Look at the little tufts. Cheek fullness. Because, of course, give them those chipmunk cheeks. Tail shape. Nice options. And then, markings. There are two different markings. Well, two different marking slots. The one will be on your face, but you can actually move it around. There you go. And there's a lot that you can do here. So let's just take, as an example, that one. You can change the color, obviously. Needless to say. Let's just put it on like black so we can see it nicely. Opacity. Position. Put it anywhere you like. Size. There you go. Angle. You can flip it. And you can add two of them. And then just move them around if you'd like. Right? Revert to default. Then you can swap them around. And you can do another one for marking too. And that's it. For the Palico, you also have the color settings over here. And you have a detailed... it makes it look like a lot of options available. A detailed view for pretty much everything that you have here. I believe they could have gone a little harder on the Palicos, but I also think that with the armor and the accessories and the extras that you can equip on them, it's more than enough customization. And honestly, like this one option here, the long-haired option, is just, it's enough for me. It's enough. I don't need anything else. The long-haired option's all I need, right? It is absolutely all I need. The final option to look at here for Palicos is probably the most interesting one, actually, and I want to say most divisive. I'm not sure. I kind of thought it would be a little ridiculous when they added actual voices to the Palicos, and I'm not sure if this is something that came from previous Monster Hunter games, but in World, your Palico didn't actually talk, it just had the feline language. Here, you have the option to turn the feline language off and actually hear a voice. It's fascinating. I didn't think I'd like it, but after hearing it, I think it's kind of cute. It's fantastic. And hearing the cat puns in real time from your Palico the whole time, it's awesome. it's awesome. The only thing that to me could make it better is if it was a dog with dog puns. But give it a listen, and you guys can let me know what you think. I'm going to stop talking for a moment and go through all the options. There are 2 different voices. I'll mess around with the pitch a bit, and I'll also show you how it sounds with the feline language on.
Yeah! Woohoo! Let's do this. Big Muse! Yeah!
Big Muse! Woohoo! Let's do this. Big Muse!
Woohoo! Let's do this. Big Muse! Woohoo! Let's do this. Big Muse!
Woohoo!
So as I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of actually changing the pitch. I feel like you should always just leave it on 10, but the voices sound good. And that's like a thumbs up from me. Nothing to complain about there. I think it's going to actually be kind of fun to have that, let's call it input from the Palico, again, in real time while you're playing. I like it. I think it's kind of cool and it suits the cute little Palicos and the game itself. That does, however, bring us to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I love what I've seen. This is pretty much just a better version of Monster Hunter World, which is what we all wanted, I'm sure. There could be a few more options for things like the bodies. I feel like you could do a little bit more sculpting there, but that's basically all the input I have. They let us go crazy, they let us have fun with this, and there's really nothing else to say, right? The main thing I think is that it is just an improvement over Monster Hunter World. They've made the UI more user-friendly. They have made it that we don't have to struggle against the user interface to create a cool character, and I dig that. I mean, that's progress. The models and stuff look awesome. The options available are obviously varied and many, and I'm a big fan. I've got nothing else to say. If you guys would like to, you can keep watching to see a few custom creations that I made for the thumbnails. It won't be too much, but there'll be a few there. And yeah, give this video a like, share it, and do all that other good stuff. If you'd like to find my links, you can find them below. My Ko-fi page, my Twitch channel, and all the rest. And hey, subscribe here if you haven't already. Do it. I'm done. Happy hunting those monsters, dudes. Happy that.